Well, Pandang, a lot of things to look forward to. We're going up high onto the Qomolangma, but right now we're still at the base camp about 5,200 meters above sea level. Behind me is Qomolangma itself, as you say, the world's tallest mountain, known internationally as Everest, standing about 8,800 meters above sea level. So this base camp is pretty much where everyone makes their ascents. In China, of course, this is a point of entry in China. There's another base camp in Nepal because the two countries actually share this mountain. So you'd think that life out here, out in the wild at the base camp, 5,200 meters above sea level, would be quite primitive. But my team and I were actually quite delighted to find out that it's actually quite okay because, well, this is certainly no luxury hotel in the Maldives, but we've got all the basic necessities that we need. We have electricity, which was quite unexpected, at least for me, and we have fresh food supply coming from a village about 2 hours drive away. We have cell data, which is why I'm able to talk to you right now, and we have all these kind of various tents behind us, as you can see, of various different kind of color, size, big and small, which are very warm inside, at least during the day. So every spring, during the end of April and early May, hundreds of mountaineers are gathered here at the base camp for at least a chance to stand atop the world. And the climbing season attracts not just mountaineers, though, but also scientists who gather here at the base camp to make their ascents up the mountain. They're great mountain climbers themselves, but they're going to climb the mountain to various altitudes depending on their scientific research. This is all part of China's second Tibetan Plateau research mission. The first one started back in the 1970s and lasted for about 2 decades. The plateau, the Tibetan Plateau of China, is important for a number of reasons. Climatically, excuse me, my brain stopped working because of lack of oxygen. The plateau, again, important for a number of reasons, geologically, climatically, because the weather here actually affects the entire weather system of China, and the glaciers and lakes here feed into more than 10 of Asia's greatest rivers, providing fresh water to about 1/5 of the world's population. So you can see why conducting scientific research here on the plateau, understanding how the glaciers here are changing, what kind of secrets are hidden in these rocks and ice and snow, how the clouds and vapor move with the wind. Conducting research like this on the plateau, on Qomolangma, actually carries significant importance, especially in this age of global warming. Pandang.
Well, Tao Yuan, Chinese scientists have been conducting research on Mount Qomolangma since the 1950s. What's so special about this time?
Right. So several things that makes this particular expedition this year stand out. First of all, is the biggest in scale in decades, and is the most comprehensive. It's got the most number of scientists, about 340 of them across the most number of disciplines. So meteorology, geology, geography, paleontology, botany, and so on and so forth, to name just a few. And another thing that makes this particular expedition this year stand out is that it's going to be the highest. So local mountaineers have been enlisted into the expedition. Tibetan boys whose bodies were born to adapt to this kind of harsh environment and who were trained to climb to the summit of the world, they have been enlisted into the mission, and they were trained by scientists, and they're going to go all the way up carrying equipment with them. They're going to install a weather station all the way on the top of the world, and they're going to collect samples all the way from the top of the world. Earlier, I spoke to the mountaineering team's leader. Let's hear about his story. It's the highest point on Earth, Mount Qomolangma on China's Tibetan Plateau, known internationally as Everest. Every climbing season from April to May, hundreds of mountaineers gather here at the base camp, 5,200 meters above sea level, for a chance to stand on top of the world. is one of them.
I grew up in a township at the foot of Qomolangma. I yearn to reach the top. I'm very grateful that there is such a big force of nature in our Tingru County. Without it, I probably would not have so many rich experiences.
Experiences that others dare not dream of. De Ting has conquered Qomolangma 4 times.
In 2008, for the Beijing Summer Games, he was part of a team that escorted the Olympic torch to the summit. This time, he's on a new mission. He's leading a team of 14 to collect weather data and ice and snow samples from the world's tallest peak.
This is unprecedented from a scientific perspective.
Zhao Huabiao is a meteorologist who needs this kind of data. Most scientists like him are good mountain climbers themselves, but the Qomolangma summit is known to be elusive, even to the experienced.
We've been in close communication. We teach them how to set up and operate equipment, as well as the precautions, so the installation process will go smoothly.
De Qing himself is not just a trained climber. With a master's from China's University of Geosciences, while mulling on a doctorate, he's considered a first-generation mountaineer/plateau scientist in China. He leads rounds of rehearsals, making sure no detail is overlooked, including how to bag a section of ice core, a water bottle standing in for the real thing.
The equipment we used in the past were a challenge to high-altitude research work because they were big and heavy. Now we have the best, lightest, and most convenient equipment.
The team ascends from base camp. Each of the 14 teammates shoulders 5 kilos of equipment on top of their supplies and oxygen. In a week, De Qing is set to stand on the top of the world for a 5th time to uncover for the first time some of Earth's highest secrets. The team will have a 1-hour window before harsh conditions kick in.
But once the wind gets too strong, it will be very dangerous. Our hands and feet will become susceptible to frostbite.
Dangers he knows all too well. He tells me how he once almost lost a finger.
After about 1 minute of exposure, my finger became numb and pale because it lost blood supply. It was frozen. On my way down, I knocked it on the rocks until it started to bleed.
Now that fingertip is hardened and has lost its print, a reminder of the risks of the job. But he says he's living his dream.
I don't think I'm risking my life. It's an adventure. With every climb, we prepare and we plan. We are simply exploring the scientific possibilities of the future.